I'm your boy Un with your boy Ray Stance. Hurry up and give me the proton pack before I bust in my pants. Well, fortunately Ray's already got the proton pack, otherwise this could have gotten disgusting. But I am indeed Un, and this is Ghostbusters for the Sega Genesis. Last time I got my shit kicked in by the broccoli worm, but fortunately, as you can see, Ghostbusters is not stingy with the continues, so we will have our revenge. And I thought I had to start the level over when I continued, but that was a failure of memory on my part. As you will see in a moment, we do have our defeated mid-bosses remaining defeated. It'd be nice if I could pick up another duck, but nope, just don't have the money right now. So I think I'm going to hold off on my vengeance against the broccoli worm, and we are going to go after one of the other mid-bosses. So let's see here. I believe Mr. Broccoli was up and to the right, so let's just try heading upward for starters. Oh, fair warning, I play like absolute dog shit in this session. I mean, I'm never the most gifted gamer that ever was, and hopefully you are not watching my videos with that expectation, but I really just do not cover myself in glory at all today. But in the end, there will be victory, and that is what matters most. There will also be a non-trivial amount of lost on today, because the last two levels in this game, kinda big. Nevertheless, I will get there eventually. Right now, I really kinda need money, so I'm hoping that those two chests down below will have some of the good stuff for me. Double bombs. That is just delightful. Oh well, the search continues. Oh, please have health. And it's health. Spud, you are a scholar and a gentleman. Ah, and a second dose, which I didn't even need. Slimer is feeling very generous today. So here it takes me a little while to find out that, or rather to realize that my shots are a little too low to actually be hitting the ball thing. You'd think I would have realized a little more quickly that it isn't actually taking damage, but like I said, this is not my my most shining hour. So finally I seem to have figured that out, but how to actually handle this without repeatedly getting shot off the moving platform, well, that's a little bit more of a problem. I could do it this way, but that would be exceedingly slow. Do I finally have a use for the bombs? Well, probably softened them up a little, but wasn't quite enough to finish the job. Ah, finally. Are you money? You are money. Well, we still have the big question of where our next actual mid-boss is. I do know that no matter where or who it is, it's not going to be as much of a pain in the ass as the broccoli worm. None of the other bosses on this level, including the end of level one, are as much trouble. In fact, no other bosses in the game are as much trouble as the broccoli worm, at least in my humble opinion. Your mileage may of course vary. And what is this well-guarded thing over here? Well, that would be a boss room. Unfortunately, it's the level boss room, so that's not going to help us right now. But end of level is in the upper left corner. We have made a discovery, and that will be good to know eventually. However, the question of where exactly in the world I am going remains for the moment. Damn it. But I will give myself credit for one thing, that was kind of a nice dodge. Also, I don't know that I ever noticed it before, but it just struck me that the zombies that kind of hulk their ways out of the prison cells, they're not completely mirrored sprites when they turn around. Depending on which direction they're facing, you see either the skull side of their head or the rotted flesh side of their head, which is kind of a nice touch. One of many in this game. See, skull, yeah, rotted flesh, he turns around, then skull. And I swear to you I will eventually stop wandering in circles. Okay, over here. There's gotta be something worthwhile over here because we haven't explored there. And yes, it's a new mid-boss. And to be specific, it is the Grim Reaper. So yes, we are going to shoot Death a number of times, wear him down, and ultimately shove him in a ghost trap and into the containment unit. I'm not entirely sure that's good for the, you know, the circle of life and what have you. I think we might break the universe. But never mind, we're Ghostbusters, it's what we do. So old Grim here only really has 2 attacks. He can whack you with his scythe, or he can kind of hover there and throw out a rotating spread of 4 fireballs. Really, the best thing you can do when he throws the fireballs is, if you have the space to do so, just kind of stay away, because they dissipate fairly quickly. And when you see him diving down in, just get out of the way. He might try and sickle you, or scythe you rather, or he might try and fireball you. Either way, it's good to get some distance between you and himself. Diagonal shots are very good for hitting him in the face, which, as with so many bosses, is what we need to do. When he is throwing out his fireball spread, you can hit him, you just have to do it from the side. The diagonals will not hit him at the right angle. The phaser shell can be helpful here because it does penetrate undamageable areas of enemies, so you could just shoot through his body to hit him in the face. But I decided to conserve my energy. Really, this is normally a pretty easy boss, and I shouldn't have taken as much damage as I did. Certainly shouldn't have had to put on the special suit to keep myself from dying, but whatever. We've had 2 palette changes from him, which usually means the boss is on the ropes. So we should be putting this to bed very shortly. It is certainly possible to weave your way in between the rotating fireballs, but yeah, especially if you're Ray, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, so most of the time it's better if you can just put enough distance between you and the sort of center, because more often than not, you will have enough time. They will dissipate before they get to you, as long as you're not crammed right into the corner. Just made it! I really need this health. Fortunately, as always, the little ghost capturing minigame does not prove too much of a challenge at all. I think I'm just gonna leave the suit on for now, just to make sure I get to my next destination without getting myself snuffed. Because the things in the castle, especially the environmental hazards, they do a goodly amount of harm. And I am not at my best today. Yeah, I'm really on the ropes here, and I am also duckless. Yes, it's true, this man has no duck. It'd be very nice if I could remedy my current lack of duck. Unfortunately, we shall have the opportunity. Get some duck. Get some dumps. And unfortunately, that leaves me pretty much broke, so I will not be able to refill my energy at this time. But we'll live. Since we have captured Death, the only mid-boss remaining aside from the broccoli worm is going to be the thing possessing Egon. And as I've mentioned before, that's going to be exactly the same as the fight that we had with the possessing spirit manipulating Peter. And we took some hits during that fight, and we will take some hits during the next one, but in the end, it's nothing we haven't dealt with before. Should come out okay. That is such a weird little animation, the teddy bear heads inflating just before they explode. Oh, good job, me. Extra good job, me. And where are we now? Oh, this is where Pete was. That's not gonna help. Oh really, what the hell was that? Like, rewatching this, I'm slightly angry at myself, to be honest. Well, I guess I needed that. Health would have been nicer, but I did kinda need that. So where the hell is Egon? Don't really have the money for a refill at this point. Really kind of messed up that with all of our high-tech ghost capturing and dissipating equipment, all of our R&D and material needs, we probably spend more on Chinese food than just about anything. Well, you know, when you can't even get an order of dumps for less than $500, I guess that's how things are gonna go. I always knew it was expensive to live and work in New York City, but so much worse than I ever really realized. So let's see, which is the right way now? Oh, holy shit, an extra life. In the probably dozen times that I've been through this game, I don't know that I've ever actually found that before. Oh well, I'm not gonna knock it. Spengler! How you been, friend? Oh, considering you're purple and evil, probably you've been better. But considering I just died, we'll call it even. Again, this is not too bad of a fight because he's fairly predictable. Generally speaking, he'll just run at you shooting. And if you get boxed into a corner, you can just take a shot at Egon directly and cause him to back off a bit. But pretty consistently, just jumping over him and taking a shot at his back will hit the marionette thing pretty consistently. I like how he just stands there gawping at the ceiling like a dying fish while we try and capture the ghost, but fortunately seems like he shakes it off easily enough. Alright, that's 3 mid-bosses down. That just leaves the biggest asshole of them all. And we know where to find him. Right this way. Ah, platforming. Platforming! Ah, good. If I had fallen at that point, it would have been very, very salty. Alright, the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad, annoying boss fight. Take 2. As always, phase 1, not a big deal at all, but now the fun begins. Yeah, I better put on that shield. I play it a little more cautious this time, stay low more of the time, pick my shots a little better. Staying low will not completely put you in a safe zone because they do swoop low enough to hit you when you're prone, but it does make you a little less likely to get hit. And trying to catch more of them with each fireball, but sometimes doesn't work out. Overall, though, I'm not too dissatisfied with how I'm doing. In a very clumsy day for me, I'm handling this more or less passively. Because really, my best fight against the broccoli worm is never particularly good. I haven't eaten the duck yet, so that's good. Alright, out of energy. Let's not take chances. And we'll finish this off. Still easy to get hit when you have 1 segment left, but at least you know which one's gonna dive at you. Ha ha ha! Eat shit, you green bastard. You better believe I'm not letting you get away. Oh, that was satisfying. I enjoyed that. Alright, at this point, if I have the money, and I'm not sure if I do, it might not be the worst of ideas to do an energy refill, just so I would have the special suit if I needed it. But I don't tend to need energy-consuming gear of any sort against the actual level boss, because he's really pretty easy. Not even just compared to the broccoli worm, but compared to most bosses in the game. In fact, it's not unusual for me to beat the boss of this level without taking a hit, but given the way I'm playing, I don't think it'll be too big of a spoiler warning if I let you know that that's not going to happen. Alright. We are duckless. We are low on energy, but we're going to go for it. We're not real far in the black on funds either. And again, this is a boss I should be able to handle pretty solidly. And the generosity of a wandering Spud will not hurt with that at all. So, if memory serves, we're headed for the... Damn it, Spud. If memory serves, we are headed for the upper left. Yes, I remember this place. It had the funky symbol above the door. Well, this is our proper destination. How about that? It would be awesome if I would stop taking needless hits, but that's not going to happen. You came at a good time. Just now I'm very hungry. I'll even eat Arthur, that rat. Fee-fi-fo-fum. You can't really think of ruling us. He should have shut up and collected the tablets. Now I'll have a pleasant dinner. The menu features the Ghostbusters. Let's eat! Alright, well, we're seeing why there are lots of plants around the castle, I suppose, and the platforms and various other places in the scenery. So would this be Dana 2 or Janine 2? I don't know. In any case, not a big deal at all. The ability to keep firing in one direction while crawling back and forth will really help you out here, because if you stay low, you do not ever need to worry about the laser. And the laser is his only direct attack. Her direct attack? I don't know. But anyway, the only other thing is these vines constantly grow and block your shots, and they send the little Pac-Man plant pea things at you. I don't know what they are, but they're your greater threat here because, again, if you're ducking, you will never get hit by the laser. So you just kind of have to slide back and forth across the floor, dodging the pea things and shooting old Dana/Janine 2 in the mouth every time it opens. And you will know if you have landed a successful hit because you'll see that little cringe animation. That does mean you can only land one hit at a time, thus making the phaser shell not particularly helpful for this fight. But not a whole lot of health, so really just keep the pressure on, and we've already got our second palette change. Yeah, no point in the special suit, because I can really only take one hit no matter what, so we'll just try and stay alive for the final stretch. Also, it does help if you position yourself so that the little pea balls will move where they won't be in your way. You can kind of bait them in various directions. I don't do that very skillfully in this fight, but again, I'm just having that kind of day. Very nice. And we get a red skull. Is it a Nazi? Did Arthur die? Once he was my friend. After he found the stone tablet, he changed, but a long time ago, he was a good person. This time, to restore Arthur's good name, I'll pay you for your costs. We did it. Boy, were we lucky. I think it's probably going to take more than 13 grand to restore Arthur's good name. You know, he's a no-good rotten rat. To think that we have to get involved in his schemes is unimaginable. The stone tablet has the power to control the ghosts, but Arthur is absolutely no good at using it. Oh, Ray with the burn. Doesn't this red bead need to be put in the center of the stone tablet? Okay, let's do it. It fits just right. Earthquake! Oh, good job there, guys. You know, there was an actual city block there, so I think you might have just killed a whole lot of people. Hey, have a look at the TV. The earthquake made a giant hole in the center of the city. Everybody, this is terrible. Don't touch that stone tablet. From studying and deciphering the stone tablet, I've learned its secret. The tablet is the seal to the door of the world of evil. By placing the red jewel called the Eye of the Flame in the hole at the center of the tablet, a corridor to the evil world is opened. Oh, come on! How can you say something like that? It's already been done! Did you say it's already been done? When we put in the jewel, the earthquake occurred and the giant hole opened up in the city. Yeah, Ray, weren't you paying attention? So I guess that hole is the corridor to the evil world. We did something terrible. What shall we do? What's going to happen now? There is a way. In order to close the corridor we opened, we should put a jewel called The Storm's Calm into the tablet. Where is that jewel? I don't see it anywhere. Excuse me for the sudden interruption. As a representative of the mayor, I'd like to ask if you have seen television reports of ghosts springing out of a giant hole in the ground. The entire city has been brought to a standstill. I have heard you people are experts at getting rid of ghosts. I'll do whatever is in my power if you'll please help us. Okay, we understand. Leave it up to us. I appreciate your saying so. I'm thankful, and ask you to do whatever you can. Everybody, let's not say anything about the earthquake being our fault. Anyway, let's go into that hole. Alright, Ghostbusters, let's go. Well, thankfully, we've got a good amount of funds right now. We can afford to, replace our duck. It's a strange sentence. Nothing at the weapon shop we really need. And you know, it really occurs to me that, you know, creating a giant hole, wiping out an entire block of New York City, and then saying, guys, let's not say that was our fault. That is a very Ghostbusters thing. But anyway, we are on to our final case, the deep hole. This level is probably not as overall difficult as the castle, but it is annoying, because those green booger brain things on the ground, they do quite a bit of damage if you touch them, and sometimes they're placed to make them hard to avoid. Other than that, though, most of the enemies are just those orange bat things, and those are not a terrible threat. Oh, we do have some more of the slimes. If you haven't noticed by now, they tend to jump at you whenever you face them. And you are seeing why the placement of the green things can be kind of annoying. They can be placed in low ceiling areas where they're hard to jump over, they can be clustered close together, all kind of fun stuff like that. How about that background, by the way? Got a regular ossuary down here. And now you see what's up with the mid-bosses for this level. They are all the end-of-level bosses we faced before. And just as we did before, we're going to want to break out the phaser shell for the snowman, which is going to be the biggest problem of the 4 bosses this time out, because most of them have had their HP boosted. The snowman is no exception, so it's going to take a while to bring him down, and because of his minion spam style of attack, it can be hard to avoid taking lots of hits over the course of a longer fight, so he's going to put a pretty good dent into me. I really should have worn the special suit from the start, but didn't occur to me. Too late now, whatever. Shall we eat the duck? Now let's see if we can make it. And the answer is no. Oh well. Might as well take out the suit now. We should be done sooner than later. And appropriately enough, Bad Mr. Frosty is brought down with fireballs, and I am an idiot. I kind of fumbled the controller there, and ate my Peking duck for no good reason. Oh well, glad I saved my money. Anyway, you'll notice when we fought these bosses before, they just kind of blew up and the piece of the tablet flew out. Now we actually get to capture them. So, I guess it actually makes sense for a change for us to be fighting the bosses. Presumably, we didn't get to put them in containment before. Well, we won't be making that mistake again. Well, the good news is I am not in a really bad situation for not having my duck, because all of the bosses here are familiar, and none of them are that bad. Again, the snowman is probably the worst of them. And right now, I'm having more than my fair share of difficulty with getting up on this ledge. And a duck will not help with that. No, it will not. Ah, finally. As you may have guessed, this is another good opportunity for some quality lost on. Not exactly a lot of useful landmarks in this purple hole thing. Also, the jumps here can be especially annoying because the greeble on the floors means you can't easily tell where the edges of the platforms are. So you kind of have to just eyeball it as best you can. As with so much of this game, I do dig the music, though. Alright, gotta get my bearings here. I haven't been up and to the left very much, let's give that a try. Always glad to get the health drop. Well, unless I have full health and low energy, but really, how often does that happen? Alright, who's it gonna be this time? Ah, the fiery wall face thing. Probably the easiest of the boss refights. He does have more health, just like the snowman did, so it's going to take a while to bring him down. But you will notice we've got more room to work with. It is a larger space in which we fight him, and it doesn't have that hole in the ground. So while I will definitely be taking some needless hits like that one, it's going to be easier to dodge, it's going to be easier to avoid taking damage. Well, it should be easier to avoid taking damage, but yeah. The only real downside to the new terrain is that because there is no hole in the ground, that means the oily slime things that he occasionally belches out will not fall off the level quickly. They'll just kind of slide back and forth for a longer period. But they're easy to jump over, and it's a trade-off I'm willing to take. I really seem like I want to hit those three-way shots. No, they are not power-ups. And even the first time with the lesser amount of health, this boss fight felt like it took a little too long. This time it definitely feels like it's taking a little too long, but what can you do? It's still a relative breather, and I am grateful for that. Any old day now. Still going. Like, every time I get a few more shots in the thing, I'm thinking this has got to be the last cycle. But finally it is. Into the box with you, sir. Now, the deep hole here, of course, does not have a giant skyscraper for Mr. Stay Puft to stand on top of, so he is going to be the exception to our boss refights. He's not going to be back. Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we did technically break the city, so it's kind of up to us to fix it. Lots of money, so lots of Chinese. Gas us up, Einstein. Oh, as they say in spy fiction, back in the hole. And as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yes, Mr. Stay Puft does not have a giant skyscraper, so we will not be fighting him again. Which means the two remaining mid-bosses are going to be the Chufty Scale Beast thing, and the plant that we just fought. And this ought to be one of them. And it is the Scaly Guy. Once again, we have a trade-off in that we actually, once again, have more room to maneuver. But Scaly Guy does have more health, which makes him a fair bit tougher than he was before, actually, because it means you will have to get on the other side of him more often. And because you can't really tell when he's going to bounce in the air, that can be a little bit tricky. And can lead to situations like this where you've really kind of been pinned down in the corner. So we will ameliorate some of our damage and take care of it that way. But I do want to conserve my energy. Actually, the technique for this guy is not that dissimilar to the plant, because once again, you're just kind of sliding back and forth on the ground, trying not to get hit. Although the Genesis was not exactly a color displaying powerhouse, I do like the iridescent effect they managed to do on his scaly body there. And wow, you can jump over him when he's at full height? Well, I wish I had figured that out earlier. Oh well. And that, as they say, is that. Now, I would be really disgusted with myself here if I managed to get killed by the falling eyeballs, but fortunately we managed to steer clear of that particular shame. A feisty little bastard. Get over here. Alright, that just leaves Janine 2. I've decided it's Janine 2 rather than Dana 2. Janine's really the more interesting character in my book. So, yes, that just leaves Janine 2. And, you know, I haven't exactly counted the shots it takes, but, it feels to me like, the plant has not gotten a health boost, which is just as well considering you can only get one hit on it at a time. And it remains a pretty easy fight, so we shouldn't have any major problems here. As for the level itself, that could be a different story. And let's just go for it. We have our duck. We only have one life. But I can just take out the last boss and then, or the last mid-boss rather. And then we can continue to have a little left over for the, actual end boss. And if it comes down to it, we are certainly not in any danger of running out of continues anytime soon. Although I am in quite a bit of danger of running out of patience with this particular bit of platforming here. If I could just see clearly where the edge was, that would really help out a lot. But no, we can't have nice things like that. I'm getting sick of that bouncing sound, so the slime has to go. Finally! What the hell was I doing there? I mean, I know I realized that that was a boss room we'd already done, but I really just kind of walked straight into that spine. Must have not been paying proper attention. Okay, this feels about right, said the man with no sense of direction whatsoever. Oh, that would have been a nice bit of jumping if I hadn't gotten shot in the ass at the end of it. Oh well. I think we've got our plant room here. Yes, we do. Small room, low ceiling, no scrolling, but you know that's okay because you know we've done this battle before, quite recently in fact. Didn't find it particularly difficult. And I'll actually play a little bit less stupidly this time. It still will not be one of my no damage efforts, but yeah, it's good enough. You know, I just realized I don't think it ever really impressed on me before, but we're actually getting the end-of-level boss music for these guys instead of the mid-boss music. Which is kind of too bad for my money because I like the mid-boss BGM a bit more, but an interesting choice. I guess that's the theme for these guys, so they're sticking with it. I do hope you'll excuse my lack of witticisms. There's really nothing much left to say about this boss fight. Other than the palette changes do kind of make it look like it's going brown and wilty. Which is appropriate, I suppose, for a monster plant. Yeah, let's not take chances. Thing's already dead, we don't want to have to continue right now. Let's at least get rid of the final mid-boss first. That would be super. So, since we're capturing the ghost of the plant monster now, does that mean we've also just trapped the ghost of Arthur, since it ate him? You know, like the whole thing in Metal Gear Solid 3, where if you eat a buzzard that was feeding on a soldier, then the game reacts as if you ate the soldier. Yeah, this has nothing to do with anything, I'm just kind of blathering. But it's what I do. Anyway, we definitely need to reduck ourselves. But you know what? We're gonna want a full complement of the lives for the last boss just to be on the safe side, so I'm gonna get myself killed. Bob's your uncle, raise a mummy. And back on the field. And that'll give us full health, full energy, a fresh duck. Once again, nothing we really need here. So let's wrap this up. I believe what we want is up and to the right, because that's pretty much the only place we haven't been. Here's a topic in the meantime. In the real Ghostbusters, Peter Venkman, a character famously portrayed by Bill Murray, was voiced by the late Lorenzo Music. In the 2004 live-action Garfield movie, the title character, traditionally voiced by the late Lorenzo Music, was given over to Bill Murray. Weird. Discuss amongst yourselves. Yep. I keep forgetting that once you've got all the mid-bosses down, you can check the map and get that red dot for where the actual level boss is. Can be useful. And yep, just a few steps to the right. And we should be ready to put this case to bed once and for all. We hope. Oh, hey, it's a green lady.
Are you the one who woke me up? Thank you. My name is Jana, the Lord of Death and Destruction. Your world will soon be ruled by the power of the world of darkness. You'll be my very first victim. You should feel very honored.
Oh, Jana. That's not a good look for you. Well, as a very wise man once said, let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown. Phase 1's real easy here. Jana will just kind of alternate between throwing her heart at you and throwing her, is that a khopesh? I think that's what you call a sword like that. So yeah, the heart will just kind of bounce across the level, the khopesh will fly a short distance in your direction and then back to her hand. And you just have to regularly shoot her in the face, and remember to take a little bit of a step away when it's time for the sword to come out. The heart will block some of your shots, but not a big deal. You just have to remember to get close enough, because if you're using the standard shot, which is all you really need for the first phase, then your shot range is just barely long enough to hit her. So you gotta get pretty close. Yep, just those two attacks in a consistently alternating sequence, no big deal at all. Alright, once her hand falls off, she's going to move into Phase 2 and get a skull face. And it becomes much harder to avoid taking damage here, so I like to put the special suit on. She will now begin to float around the arena, while periodically doing the khopesh toss at you. Because she now has freedom of movement, and tends to move around pretty randomly, I find the phaser shell very helpful here, because it will go through her armor, meaning you can hit her in the face from behind or from below. Otherwise, the armor will stop your shots, and that's no fun at all. Also, it does mean that for each fireball, you can usually get a couple of hits in. There isn't a very big active area for it to pass through, but the fireball moves slow enough that it usually deals maybe 2, occasionally 3 hits on the average. So yeah, because her movements seem fairly random here, there may be a pattern, but none that I've been able to determine. Yeah, you can get pinned into corners fairly easily, or end up in places where there's no room to dodge. So yeah, having the suit on just so the damage isn't that heavy is a good thing, but we're already done. And we get a blue thing, which hopefully is the storm's calm. Well, what's left of 17th Street anyway. Sorry about that. Is this the storm's calm? Put it in the tablet. We did it! The cave entrance is crumbling! And that's one hell of a bonus. And really, if there's one thing that's really disappointing about this game, it's gotta be this ending. Hey, Egon. We miss you, Harold. Oh, it's nice to see Toyama's feeling healthy these days. Not so much when he faces forward, but I really do think that sprite is a very good likeness of Bill Murray. The other's not as good. The Dan Aykroyd one's not too bad, but Egon I don't think really looks like Egon all that much. And that, I'm afraid, is really all the ending we get. Just a real little bit of dialogue, a shitload of points, so there's that. And it's nice to see the jumpsuited gentlemen getting their big heroes parade. Never mind the fact that they destroyed a big chunk of the city, but, you know, these things will happen. But, yeah. Pretty disappointing ending, but it could always be worse. So yes, friends, that is Ghostbusters for the Genesis. Despite my relative ineptitude today, I hope you've enjoyed it. A very good game, in my humble opinion, one that I've played many, many times over, and as I've said before, one that I was very hyped up for seeing in the magazines, and it actually turned out to live up to my expectations. Nice monster designs, nice music, and you know, when it's compile, you're usually going to end up with something pretty good. In any case, I do very much hope that you have enjoyed the trip. It has been a pleasure playing a thing for you once again. Things are coming along pretty well on Dark Souls 2, but I'm not quite ready for that, so next time, well, we'll try something else. Not sure what it'll be yet, but I hope to see you then, and I look forward to it. Until then, take care, and that's game, Hendrix. This episode of I Played a Thing has been brought to you by such generous patrons as Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Charlie Dunst, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Johnny Millennium, Sanguine Games, Joseph Coco, Misha Van Doren, Craig Patterson, Frank Greasy, Tim J., Lolo DiPuzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, and with the new month I would like to welcome Chibi UFO, Jared C. Rice, and Darren Chow. Oh, if any more of you folks sign up, I'm gonna have to go to a 2-column format here. There are worse problems to have. Anyway, I would also like to say thank you to the rest of the generous donors, and to all of you watchers, subscribers, and commenters. I'm glad to have you all along, and I hope to see you next time. Till then, have a good one.